Hello world, and welcome to Java Tutorials in 5. My name is Harpreet.
And my name is Jasmine.
Today we're going to be explaining for loops.
A for loop prevents us from having to manually type out many commands.
The exact definition for a for loop is actually this. A for loop is a control flow statement for specifying iteration, which allows code to be executed repeatedly. In simpler words, it declares a variable that will automatically do that for us.
So first, we're going to start off by writing an array. We're going to name it names, and inside of it, we're going to write 4 different names. Bruce, Bob, George, and we'll do Mike. So, what we want our for loop to do is print out these 4 names. And, we could just write 4 different print statements to do that, but that's very tedious. A for loop will do that in just one chunk of code.
So before we go on to writing our for loop, we're going to comment out and explain what 3 parts of a for loop are. For a for loop, you need a variable, a condition, an increment slash decrement. And now let's go over what each of these parts are. A variable is just set up in the beginning of your for loop. The condition allows the for loop to run as long as it is met. And the increment slash decrement adds or subtracts from the variables each time the for loop runs.
Now let's start writing our for loop. We're going to start off with the word for and followed by 2 parentheses. Inside of these parentheses, we're going to have our condition, which is we're going to have our variable. The first part. The variable is just going to be int b equals 0.
And now that we have our variable, we're going to move on to our condition. And we're going to say our condition as b is less than names.length. And we're doing this because we want all the names to be printed out in the array.
Next, we're going to have our increment decrement parse. This array is an increasing array, so we're adding 1 name each time the for loop runs. So we're going to have b++. Now we're going to add curly brackets. Inside of these curly brackets, you're going to have the actual code. Every time this for loop, this condition is met, the code inside of here will run. And it will keep running and keep printing out or keep whatever we're doing inside of this code. That's how that works.
So we want to write code that prints out all the names. So we're just going to write a print statement. And we're going to say system.out.println names and then b, because we set our variable equal to b.
So that's our variable, that's b, and then names is the name of the string. And don't forget semicolons, because that always messes us up. So let's see if this compiles. So it turns out that we have one extra curly bracket. It should run now. There we go.
See, it didn't compile because we had an extra curly bracket. And now when we compile, it works. And as we run it, you can see that all the names in the array are printed. And this is because every time the for loop runs, it will print out 1 name. And then it will go back up and see if this condition is met. So it prints out 1 name and b is still less than a total of 4. It keeps doing this until it prints out all the names, at which point b will be equal to names.length, not less than, and the for loop stops, and it prints everything out. If you have any questions, leave them in the comment section.
Thanks for watching!